So what we're looking at today is we're going to combine what we did in the last 2 days, where we were first learning how to add and subtract to solve an equation, and then we learned how to multiply, divide, or use a reciprocal to solve an equation. We're putting all of the steps together today. So I'm calling it multi-step solving, since there's different processes and different operations we're going to be using today. And so I've given you some 4 kind of steps to check for in this order, so that you have to follow them in this order. 4 steps that will help you guys in solving today. Okay, so the first thing that you want to look at is you want to look to see if there's anything that we might have to distribute. And if there is, go ahead and distribute that in and collect like terms. So when I say that, maybe we might have something that looks like this. Okay, so if you see something like this, distribute that guy first. And then there's no like terms on the left side, so we don't have to worry, and then we'll continue with the problem. But I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. In number 2, if everything, so notice the bold and underline, if everything on one side of an equal sign is in the numerator of a fraction, multiply both sides with the denominator to get rid of the bottom. So when I say that, I mean something that might look like this. So if I had like 3x minus 4 all over 2 equals, I don't know, 4. Okay, see how everything on this left side of the equal sign is all over 2? What I want to do is multiply both sides by whatever I have in the denominator. So I have 2 in the denominator here. So multiply both sides. This 2, by doing that, is going to cancel out. And then I end up with, I end up with 3x minus 4 on the left side. And then on the right side, see how I have this 4 times 2? It becomes equals 8. So if you end up with something where you have one side of the fraction ends up being everything over denominator, everything, just like this, take that denominator and multiply it on both sides. In number 3, let's say we're just ready to go, like here in my negative 8x plus 12. Once you've checked for 1 and 2 and you're ready to move on to step 3, check for the thing that doesn't have a letter or a variable attached. So that would be number 12 here. Okay, so 12 does not have any letter attached to it, so that tells me that I'm going to add or subtract it to the other side. So you don't want to touch the one that has the letter, you're going to save that for last. So move that 12 over, and I end up with negative x equals, what do we get? Negative 9, right? Okay. And then number 4 tells me to multiply, divide, or use a reciprocal to get rid of the numbers that are attached to the variable. So we save the one attached to the variable to the very, very end. And in this case, it's going to be a divide because it's right next to each other, so it's being multiplied. And so I end up with x equals positive 9 over 8. Okay, so just an example there of what to do if in that order for solving these multi-step problems. Let's go ahead and look at some sample problems here, and we'll get started in practice. So here's my number 1. 2x minus 7 equals 4. So going through the steps that I gave you above, let's actually scroll up and still have those up there. Well, I can't get all of them, but do I have anything to distribute in number 1? No, I don't. Do I have anything that's over a fraction? Any side? No. I have something to add or subtract, right? So I look for the one that doesn't have x, which is the negative 7. So that's the one I'm going to move over. Okay. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Remember, these guys go away. Positive 4 plus 7 is 11. Now I get rid of this guy. I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. And there we go. Okay. Looking at number 2, do I have anything to distribute? Nothing to distribute. Now this is a tricky one for my step 2. Do I have anything, do I have one side of the equal sign that's all over a fraction? Like the whole thing is over a fraction. So watch my cursor right here. Does it look like this where one side is completely over a fraction? The answer is no. The only thing over a fraction is just that one, right? So I'm going to treat it, I'm going to skip step 2 and I'm going to go straight to number 3 because I don't have one complete side that's over a fraction. So I have this negative 9 here. I'm going to add it to both sides. These two guys go away. So I have 1/5 x equals positive 3 plus 9 is 12. Okay, I'm going to, this is a fraction being multiplied, so remember yesterday, what do? We're going to times by the reciprocal on both sides. If it helps, make this a 12 over 1. Okay, and so everything cancels out on that left side, so I end up with x equals 12 times 5 is 60. 1 times 1 is 1. You don't have to put it over 1. You can just leave it as x equals 60. Okay, and there you go. Number 3, do I have anything to distribute? Nothing to distribute. Do I have, in step 2 now, do I have something, one side that's completely over a fraction, just like this? I do, right? This left side is all over 2. So what does that tell me I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to get rid of that 2 on this left side. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So here's a 2, here's a 2. So when I multiply on the left side, I just cross them out. So if you match the denominators, they just cross out. And I'm left with k minus 4 on the top. And then on the right side, 2 times 13 is 26. And I solve. So moving on to step 3, here's my negative 4 doesn't have a letter attached, so I'm going to add it to both sides. These guys go away. 26 plus 4 is 30, and that's all I had to do. Nothing to multiply, divide, or reciprocal, because this turned out to be k already. Alright, here we go, 3 more problems for today. Let's look at number 4. Anything to distribute here? I do, right? I have right here and right there. Negative 4 times m is negative 4m. Negative 4 times 12, negative 48, equals 36. Now what am I doing here? Look for the one that does not have the letter attached to it. Okay, that's the negative 48, so I'm going to add 48 on both sides. Cancels. Negative 4m equals, what do we have here? 4, carry the 1, 84. And then we divide. And so m equals negative 21. Number 5, let's see how you guys do. So you try number 5 by yourselves, and then I'll work on this one, and you can check on my work and see how you did. So x equals 16, since the whole thing over here was over 3, I multiplied 3 on both sides. Okay. Number 6 is a little weird, but maybe you guys can figure it out. So I have this 2x plus 3x. So before you do anything, what I'm hoping you'll do is add those since they're like terms. So take care of like terms before you start moving things around. Otherwise, your answer gets kind of weird sometimes. So I end up with 5x. So take care of like terms if you can. Divide both sides by 5. X equals 40 divided by 5 is 8. And we're done. Okay, and again, like always, if you want to check your answers, go ahead and do so. Just take your answer and plug them in. So if I want to check number 6, 40 equals 2 times 8, because we know x is 8 now, plus 3 times 8. So I end up with 40 equals 16 plus 24. 40 equals 40. We're good to go. Alright, so check your answers if you need to. Write down your questions and don't forget to take the quiz.